love you, Susie Q. That has been stuck in my head for a long time.
Really, Sarah?
Yeah, every time you you come up on my text or you come up and it just pops up.
Oh, I like that.
It pops into my head. I think it's because I haven't been listening to a lot of my own music lately. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like...
You're a blank slate.
I'm a blank slate, yeah.
Well, welcome to the show, episode 463.
Woo!
I'm really glad to be here. How about you, Sarah?
Super happy to be here. As per usual, my favorite place.
Me too.
I just love it.
I have number one, a recommendation.
Ooh. Okay, yes.
What?
You reminded me. No, I don't. You tell me your recommendation first, and then there's something I forgot to tell you that I just now reminded me, and I'm glad you did that, so go.
Okay, so on Netflix, there is a series called The Song Exploder, and it's based on a podcast, I think, with the same name. And I think there's only like 5 episodes or something. And each episode they do a different song and interview the artists. Ooh. And they explain how the song came to be, how it was produced, what it means, the sort of cultural implications of the song or personal implications, like if it's about something in their life. And anybody that enjoys music, as I do, will really love just hearing sort of behind the scenes on how, for example, episode 1 was Losing My Religion by REM. And that song is such a great song for...
Creepy music video
and memorable music video.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a mandolin is the main instrument, which is weird, but it's the super big hit pop song. And it was delightful. And I just thought... And just wanted to recommend it to the audience. If you're into music, you might like it. And it's all different genres. In fact, the other songs in the series I've never heard of, and I still enjoy it. Like, you don't need to know the song to like the show.
Oh, I love that. And it's kind of like how a hit becomes a hit, or what?
Yeah, and sort of like why the artist chose, why did you put they separate each track, they isolate each track, and play it on its own. So you can hear like the vocals and then the percussion. Wow. And it's so beautiful. It's just great.
I love that.
It's fun.
Well, and you have such an ear, so I would imagine like if you're somebody who enjoys music, then...
Well, in the first episode with REM, they isolated the percussion and played it for the drummer, and he was like, I didn't even remember making that part. And then he's like, play it regular, like play the the song. And then he goes, oh my gosh, you're right, it is in there. And like, this is his own hit song.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Oh yeah, I definitely want to see that.
If even the artist can be surprised after hearing the song a gazillion times, that shows you something.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so watch that. Yes. And then I did you tell me your thing, and then I want to tell you one more thing.
Well, I did, when we were having our, gushing about how much we loved the Great British Baking Show.
Yeah.
I had only seen, even though I knew new episode had been coming out, I had only seen season 7, and then I started going backwards. For some reason, I was, resisting, watching the newest.
Right.
I had no idea it took place in real time.
Oh, yes.
This is the best news ever. I'm so excited for Biscuit Week. It's the best. It was like the gift that kept on giving. Because at first I discover this show that's amazing, and then I discover that there are multiple seasons. So I'm like, oh, I'll go back and watch those to I don't know, in some way prep me ? For the new season. Doesn't make sense. And then I'm like, oh, I should see what Susie's talking about and what this new season's like with this new host. And then I click it and I'm like, what? It's happening now? I thought it was recorded way before. So this is amazing. And that's all. I had to update you on my...
that was really cool that they adjusted the production to deal with the pandemic. Because usually because England is so small, when they're not filming, they just go back home and practice baking and then come back for the next episode to film. But they couldn't do that during the pandemic, so they're quarantining and filming, which is more like an American reality show because we're all quarantined essentially anyway.
You might see increased stress on this one and a little more like
tension.
Yes, but I just love it. It's amazing.
But like I texted Sarah last Friday because the new episodes are released one at a time, so you can't binge the new season. You just wait for Fridays when they come out. And I text Sarah and showed her a screenshot when Adam texted me and goes, "Babe, it's biscuit week. # pumped." And like he genuinely was. He wasn't being silly.
Right. And I got it.
Because biscuit week's a big week, man. Bread week. Oh,
Cake week.
Cake week.
Question mark on dessert week.
They have, is it like trifles or something?
Well, yeah, but it's like, is it dessert an umbrella term?
You know what? It is weird because you know how when Adam says, "Do you want dessert?" he says, like, "What do you want for pudding?" They call all desserts pudding.
I was thinking it was a breakdown. It was like a one of those.
I think it might be like, because usually I'm like, is this Adam or is this England? I think this might be an England question.
I love that. I think it's an England thing too. Okay, so dessert is like probably something specific. Ooh, you need to ask Adam what a dessert is.
Yeah, I will. That's why I pictured like a trifle or something.
Yeah, because elaborate. I think like Baked Alaska was one that was on there.
Baked Alaska. He loves Baked Alaska too. That must be a British favorite.
Or like a 1970s thing. Or like
True.
80s thing.
True.
Or
and
like maybe
delicious.
How does he feel about cruises? Because I feel like they do that on cruise ships. Does he like those?
Stop it.
Maybe he just loves cruises, but he can't talk about them because he's married to you and he knows how you feel about them. Yeah, and he knows that you would like shame him for it.
Yeah, what if he loves all the stuff I hate, like hammocks and camping?
So far, you're naming all the things that I love, and the chances of him liking those things, because Adam and I are very similar, pretty high. So I'm going to go with probably. I bet he does enjoy a cruise and a buffet.
We're doomed.
Doomed.
Okay, next I just wanted to say that I'm super excited because you know how I write to prisoners.
Yes, I do.
And I have been writing to a person for 3 years, and they finally wrote me back.
Wow.
I'm super excited, so I wanted the Brainiacs to be excited with me, which is Mark David Chapman, who murdered John Lennon. So excited.
Oh my God. Susie, it's like all the blood just like left my body for a sec.
Why?
I don't know, because it just makes something that feels like it doesn't exist in real life all of a sudden very real.
Yeah.
Like it brings that right here.
Yeah, because he wrote me via the JPay, which is their version of email. And I saw it in my inbox and I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been waiting for so long and there it is. And, you know, as they all are, he's super nice and wants to talk about books and religion and stuff like that.
As they all do. Wow. What is the thing that you think got him? What was the hook?
That got him to write back?
Yeah.
I'm still confused by it because the last letter I wrote him was probably a year ago. And then once I wrote him via JPay and responded, then he's writing like every day. So I don't know what the holdup was. Maybe there's a queue and I just like made my way up in the front of the line.
Or maybe that with, I don't know, the pandemic or something, people's attention is turned to other places, and maybe the people who have been writing inmates are not doing that as much.
Maybe.
Who knows? I don't know. This is totally like I have no reason for why that would be, but I'm trying to think
a lot
of
them
what's
can't
changed.
have visitors right now, so maybe the inmates themselves have more desire.
There you go. No inmates, no visitors, so more need a need to connect. And even if he had never really gone on there before, and maybe somebody that he was I don't know, near or around or talked to said, oh yeah, I use this, and then he was like, ooh, I'll get on there, and then he sees your message.
Maybe.
Ooh, there's a whole story.
I'm just excited because I mean people are fascinating, and those fringe characters, they are a fascinating breed.
Well, I wish you luck in your interviewing process, and that he's open, and I don't know.
Yeah, so
but
far
not
so good.
Too, maybe.
Right. Hope he doesn't like me too much. One thing we all like too much, and maybe there's no such thing as too much, is best fiends.
Yeah, no such thing.
There is. I mean, you know when you're in bed,
2:00 at night. I know. 2 o'clock in the morning.
like-
I said at night. That's me actually in the morning. So I haven't got to sleep yet. But
Best Fiends is such a fun escape of this crazy world. It is such a fun game where they have challenges that you can do. I do it with Lincoln, but you can do it at any age. And they have new characters all the time. And it feels so good. Like you feel like you've accomplished something when you get to the next level.
yes, let's see what level I'm on. Let's see.
Yeah,
Let's see.
let's brag
pull
about that.
up. 485.
Wow. That's really actually impressive to me.
Well, I work hard, play hard, Suze.
I always want to do a tweet where it says, like, people that say they work hard, play hard, do not work hard.
This might be true. Play hard, play hard.
Sarah would be the exception to that. It's just a really fun mobile puzzle game. Has over 100 million downloads and counting. It's a very good way to decompress and still stay stimulated. But the fun never ends. Just download Best Fiends free today on Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. Okay. Onward. Okay, so first thing to discuss. How about a pickle a day keeps anxiety away?
I believe this.
Okay. Really?
And here's why. Because that's like, there's, you know how they say like the perfect diet's the Mediterranean diet, and there's like always something that's pickled, like a pickled element to it, whether it's like pickled onions or even cucumber. There's like pickles like that go with that. Or I feel like something pickled is like probably good. I don't know. Does it have something to do with like bacteria and digestive enzymes or something?
Yeah, like it's, kimchi and all that stuff that has been shown to be good for your gut. But I was curious about why specifically helps with anxiety. And from the way that the article read, it sounded immediate. Like it sounded like if you're nervous. Yes.
Well, get me a jar of pickles.
I thought they meant like, if you eat one every day, then eventually you'll see these results that your anxiety lessens. But this was saying, like, if you're worried about a meeting or a big important thing, eat a pickle or something, a sauerkraut.
Okay. Let's think about why. Did they tell you why?
Well, it said about the bacteria, and then that specifically social anxiety and neuroticism were
Stop!
decreased.
That's insane.
I know, but they don't really know why. They're still like trying to figure it out.
You gotta pick up for your issue, man.
When they like studied the brains of people that had eaten the pickled foods, it had activated the same neural pathways as anti-anxiety meds. But why they don't know. Weird, right? But great.
Well, I love pickled foods, and
Me too.
I wonder if it's a natural like need to balance. And I would say you and I are kind of anxious people, so
totally.
Is that like your body needing to like regulate itself?
I guess.
Dude, that is so crazy. You're blowing my mind here.
I mean, we gotta stock up on pickles.
Heck yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is I've never purchased this in my life. I just bought a thing of kimchi.
Okay.
And
I
was
you're
like,
on the right track.
I think I should probably eat this. And I bought some bulgogi, and like I was like, I'm gonna make a bowl, like a little like,
I'm telling you, your body knows stuff unconsciously or subconsciously that you like. I swear, your body was like, I need kimchi because it will help.
It probably was.
Isn't that funky?
I never bought that ever. And I was like, I definitely need this at the grocery store. And now I haven't eaten it yet, so now this is just what I needed to like be like, here you go, eat that.
Well, and even if it's a placebo, who cares?
Who cares? If it makes me feel like, the only person that this doesn't work for is my brother Lucas, who is deathly afraid of pickles.
No.
Not like afraid,
Pickles.
like he has a fear, but in the same way I have an aversion to mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, yeah.
But his is even worse. His is more like Jemmy and ketchup because he actually hates pickles. I remember when he was probably like 7 or 8, we took him, it was his birthday, and we went to Jerry's Famous Deli, which is a Jewish deli, and they give you, instead of like a basket of bread, they give you a basket with some pickles in it. He lost his mind, had a full breakdown, and started crying, and we had to leave the restaurant.
Wow.
And then once to torture him, my brother Jordan and I tied him to my mom's bed and made him watch the history of pickle on the Food Network.
And he was very disturbed.
Very disturbed. Cried the whole time. Like torture.
What do you think he would be like now? He just wouldn't eat them but wouldn't make a scene?
Yeah, he wouldn't make a scene. We've recently talked about how he didn't like them. And then we also talked about how it was really fucked up that Jordan and I did that. So my apologies,
Sarah.
Lucas. I did say, listen, I made a mistake. I've since cleared the air or apologized or whatevs. But it wouldn't work for him. But
wow.
Then I think about a baby who's cranky and just shoving a pickle and letting it suck on that for a little bit. Does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it decreases anxiety, but it is fun to give a baby a pickle.
And
or
they make that funny face.
Like that.
Oh, it's so cute. Because that's where my mind also went with this. What if it's something where it's overstimulating?
That makes sense.
Something else. Kind of splashing water.
It's like that thing we learned about the brain and how you can get rid of an itch if you put the mirror in a certain place on your body.
Right.
So it's like that where you're just distracting your mind.
Yes. And then I was thinking about the cold water study with the duck or something like that. There was some study that you were talking about how it reduces stress or anxiety or an anxious response or I can't remember, but for some reason ducks.
This is what's so funny.
Ducks were involved.
Have pieces of
information. Right. We know just enough to be dangerous is really what this is.
It's better than nothing. Whatever. Okay. Another bit of good news is that a new cheese was invented during the pandemic. I'm super stoked about it. I know you're not a cheese lover. But
no, I'm a cheese lover, just not in its melted state.
Right. Okay, well, you might like this one because what happened was these cheesemongers were left with all this Munster cheese that doesn't keep very long.
Yeah.
And, the lockdown happened and they were like, great, now we have all this Munster cheese and nobody to eat it. So they decided to experiment. Typically with Munster cheese, you go down into the cellar and 3 times a day you have to wipe off the humidity, and that's what gives it its signature flavor and rind on the outside. Mm-hmm. But they were like, fuck it, we're not wiping that goddamn humidity off. We're just going to let them live. Yeah. Let them age naturally. And in so doing, they ended up with a different kind of cheese that was very mild in flavor, and then they offered it to their kids, and their kids couldn't quit eating it, and they were like, okay, we're on to something here.
You can't tell me that there hasn't been a situation where some Munster maker forgot to go wipe his cheese and hasn't created this before. This could have been invented with somebody who was just distracted for a season, right?
You're like, if I were a cheesemonger,
I would be. If
I could have done
The solution is do nothing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my
what
kind
else
of
can we
cheese
apply?
production.
Right. I'm like, what else can I apply the same logic to and get some cool results?
Yeah, and they named it
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Le Confiné or something, which means the confined or in confinement because it was made during lockdown.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the wow, you know what? They say that you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can, however, reinvent a wheel of cheese.
Yes. Right. And isn't that the good news we all needed at this time?
Is. There you go. Huh.
Maybe
I wonder if I'd like that. Well, apparently kids do.
Well,
I like a cheese
really
with a sharper taste. I'm all about the stink and the...
You're right, though. It does seem like that cheese would have come first and then the Munster.
Yeah, and then they were like,
second.
That's not as flavorful. Let's start wiping it off and see if the bacteria produces or whatever. I don't know. What do I know? I know nothing about cheese. I just don't like it melted. That's it.
That is strange. Do you think that you had a bad experience with it? Or
no,
what?
I think I just relate it to food that makes me feel not good. It causes me to have an upset stomach and like too greasy and all that. And it's just like, it's more
That's
that.
all she wrote.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. By the way, I got in a package something that I definitely do love, which is the brand new. I hope you got one too.
What?
Brand new Quip toothbrush that's all black.
My gosh, Suze. Don't lower your voice. I am saving it for Ren, and I'm going to give it to him for his birthday because he's been asking for this for so long.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to give it to him. I like opened it up and I went, and then I had to hide it. And they're like, I hid it to give it to him because he's been like, I really want that one. And so now he gets it. I told you about this a whole long time ago.
I
and you were
didn't
like,
think it was going to be that cute.
It's so cool.
Like the toothbrush itself, like the actual bristles, and then the body of the toothbrush and the holder are all this really gorgeous matte black.
Yes.
And it's sort of like, thank Christ someone actually made toothbrushes lovely.
Yeah.
And attractive. And they're smart brushes. So you can get the Quip app and connect it to your
I didn't even know that.
Toothbrush, and it'll track when and how well you brush your teeth.
That's good. Oh, this is a great gift.
I know. I'm like so passionate about it. I can't get a hold of myself. I'm going to take a picture and post it because you guys are going to be like, oh, yeah, I need that.
And with my black and white themed house, hello.
So cute.
Yeah.
It had the thing that you use to mount it on the mirror, you can use as a travel cover as well. You can pop it off the mirror and then just take it with you. It's just less clutter because it sticks to your mirror, like I said. But now with this black one, it's even cuter than before. But it helps you with your routine. It vibrates, like I said, so you know how long to brush, and you know you're doing a great job with it as well. Start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today and go to getquip.com/braincandy right now to get your first refill free because they send you a refill every 5 months to replace that head. And that's your first refill free at getquip.com/braincandy, spelled GETQUIP.com/braincandy. Quip, better oral health made simple and rewarding.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love rewards.
Me too.
Okay.
I also love clean teeth. So,
well, that's what was I saying that on the air about? Was that before we started recording? How people that don't floss their teeth are really like missing out because you feel so much better.
Yeah, who don't have that as part of like their routine or stick with it or
Yeah, start flossing your teeth. Like if you're like, my whole life's terrible, just do that.
Yeah.
And see how you feel. Maybe it'll
that
help
fits into
things.
your just do 5 minutes thing.
Yeah, because it's a small change. Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And then you can go from there.
No.
Okay, let's stick with the food topic. This is just a quick thing.
Yes.
Which is NPR says that an Irish court said that Subway's bread doesn't count as bread.
I saw this.
What do you think?
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Because I don't like when companies... Okay. I went to the grocery store the other day because I was trying to decide, like, I wanted to make, like, a real nice breakfast for us. And I was like, I'm really craving cinnamon rolls. So I went and I looked at the cinnamon rolls. And first I checked a recipe for cinnamon rolls. And I was like, okay, that's, like, doable, especially since Susie got me that bread maker. Shout out to Suze. And
Shout out
to you.
Suze.
To you. And so I knew the ingredients that were in the bread, or in the cinnamon roll that I was going to be making at home. Then I went to the store. And I looked at the ingredients that were in the cinnamon rolls that I could be buying. And I was like, this
that's a big mistake right
is... I do not want to... Like, that seems like a lot of gross stuff to put in my body.
Wow.
So, yeah. Somehow this related to that. Now I can't remember because I'm thinking about how much I would love a cinnamon roll right now.
You're like having regrets.
Yeah.
Well, you like the idea, is what you were saying, about like putting companies, holding them accountable.
Yes, thank you. Yes. To be like, that's not what that is. And the bread, quote, it had too high of a sugar content, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that they're not, that if you're not a savvy consumer, if you're like just trusting that the company is giving you this good sandwich that friggin' Jared's eating between molesting children.
Frickin' Jared.
You know, like, don't lie to me. Like, I want to know. I want it to be. I just don't like when companies. It's kind of like, what's the green thing that there's a name for it that you introduced me to, where people are like fake green. It's like eco. Like, like you're basically like flexing, but you're not. It's like using that.
It's all bogus.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a name for it. I don't know, but something.
Yeah, because basically they were arguing that in order for bread to be bread, there's a list of criteria that it must meet. And that included having, I think it was 2%. The dough itself couldn't be made up of more than 2% sugar. And Subway's is 10%. So it's not even close.
Oh, my 10% sugar. That's insane.
And so by definition, in Ireland, it is not considered bread. We in America do not have these same regulations.
We should.
We're fine with tons of sugar, apparently. So we don't have the same designation. But in Ireland, you're not eating bread.
Yeah, you're not. You're eating a dessert between...
It's a sugar loaf.
It's a sugar loaf. Oh, my God. Sugar loaf sandwich, which sounds delicious, by the way.
I'm hungry.
And, like, now, don't you feel like bamboozled? Because, like, sugar, like, it's supposed to... If I'm getting 10% sugar in that, I want it to freaking taste like that.
Exactly.
That doesn't taste
Give me
like...
a Snickers.
Like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, what a waste. What a waste of my daily intake of sugar on something where I don't even get the, you know?
Yes,
yeah,
in a savory item.
Plus,
ketchup's like that, too.
Yeah, that's sneaky like that, too. But you're very strict on your ketchup. I'm a little more, like, loosey-goosey on that. And I get, like, the organic kind that's low sugar and all that.
Oh, there you go.
You know.
Okay.
Trying to, like, you know, live forever over here, Suze.
You and my mom.
Actually, not really. But my mom did say the other day, she was talking to me about, like, I don't know, giving me, like, motherly pearls of wisdom and, like, talking about, I don't even know what she was saying, like, oh, she said, like, you like look back at your life and you'll be like, wow, but gosh, man, look at that quarantine we went through. That sure was something, or I don't know what she was saying. But when she said it, she was like, yeah, and when you're 97 and you're about to die, and I was like, in that moment, it felt like my mom was getting some, like, download from, like, you know, the spirits above. And it sounded like she was very sure that I was passing away at 97. And in my mind, I was like, oh, that sounds like the right number. Oh, that's not a bad number. Yeah, I'm good with that. And it was like, okay, I'm here for a long time. We're good.
What's the math on that? What year would that be? 2079. No, wait.
Dude, if you can do that math that fast,
because you're just 100 years minus 3.
Oh, okay.
2083, you would be, right? The hell year were you born?
1986.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
2083.
2083. Wow. 2083.
That's a nice year. You got plenty of time.
Imagine what this world will be like in 2083. I can't even wrap my head around that right now.
I think that's good advice by your mom, though, because we as people who experienced 2020 can do that whole thing that old people do, where it's like, when I was your age, or I went through this, the war and whatever. We didn't have one of those.
I can't wait to lecture about walking to school uphill both ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've got our thing. That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. I'm mad because Facebook banned an ad for period underwear.
Oh, God. They're like New York City subways.
They did. They did a very similar thing. They banned the ad for period underwear because they used red blood.
What are we supposed to do? That stupid fucking blue liquid that you're pouring into the...
Can you believe? Because the blood looks like blood. And if it was blood from your head or your hand or something, it would be no problem. They're just grossed out that it comes out of our vagina.
The most insane thing. I mean, here's the thing.
Mad.
It is gross. But it doesn't...
Yes, it is.
But, like... We're not sitting here going like, oh, yay, we want it all over us. No, but we just don't feel like you need to hide it. How come I can literally see the red wedding in Game of Thrones where people are like blood everywhere? That's like glorified. You turn on any video game and you got like blood squirting out of anything.
But when it comes out of our vagina, it's seen as profane.
Come on.
Fuck you.
For Pete's sake. Fuck everything.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Listen.
That guy.
That guy. I mean.
That guy. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I'm still mad about it.
Gosh.
They said it violated the terms because it was provocative and offensive or something like that. It is provocative, but only because of people like them.
So is the middle finger. Like, so, where's the line? Everything can be provocative and offensive. Halloween is provocative, offensive if you ask your mother.
They use the word shocking. Like, if anything's shocking.
I'll tell
everything on Facebook is...
It doesn't shock me when I see it in my underwear every month. That's pretty predictable. That's about the least shocking thing that happens. I'll be shocked when it doesn't happen.
I love when you yell.
Golly. I'm just like, stupid. That's a stupid thing to say. Not you, him.
Sarah is shocked at their shocking claim.
Yeah. I'm like, that's stupid. I rarely use that word. That is
that's like a swear word for you.
It is. And I'm going to say that is that.
Wow. Well, what is definitely not stupid are Rothy's shoes, which are my favorite shoes.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's smart stuff, people.
Yeah.
Rothy's shoes, you've seen them on my feet a gazillion times. They're so cute. They have all different styles. They have all different colors that they update all the time and patterns and prints. Yes. And now they have children's as well. And they have bags. But my favorite part is that you can wash them. Yes. So they stay like new. And I mean, I've had mine for years and they're still white. That's the testimony that you need to hear. And there's 0 break-in period. They're comfortable immediately. And they're made from recycled bottles. So they're sustainable. You need to check them all out. So check out all the amazing shoes and bags available right now at rothys.com/braincandy. That's rothys.com, rothys.com/braincandy. Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/braincandy today for those really cute shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I know.
I love you.
What else just like get fired up.
Here's another little one. I'll just do, these are all like kind of like little ones. Yeah. This is actually a good thing. This was good. Science magazine, and they were talking about how people, I guess it's like an organization, but I'm not sure who the they is, but they created decoy eggs to put in Costa Rica in the to simulate turtle eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they have GPS in them, so if poachers steal them, they can catch them.
This is great because I saw that like headline that GPS is saving baby turtles, and I was like, how on earth did they get that little GPS on that little baby turtle? And now this makes much more sense.
Yeah, and a lot of them, like I forget how many they had, but a certain percentage of them, the poachers knew and tossed them aside, and so that was unsuccessful. But there were several that they were able to catch. And I wanted to ask you, because I figured you would know, what the heck do these poachers do? They sell the turtles, or?
Well, maybe, and then maybe that like turtle soup that.
Right.
I feel like, can we just stop with the soups of endangered animals? Nobody even likes that shit.
Right, because didn't they say that the
shark fin soup, turtle yeah.
It doesn't even have a flavor. It's just a thing.
Right. And then that bird's nest soup. Stop. Stop
what is
soup.
that?
There's one that's like, oh, God. It's going to give me the heebie-jeebies. Is that a real bird's nest? Yeah. And then there's another one. But it's been like, let me see. Bird's nest soup. I think it's like weird where it's been like, okay. They're created out of the solidified saliva harvested for human consumption of swiftlet bird nests.
Gross.
Why are we doing that? Stop doing that.
Why are we doing that? Stop doing it.
Come on.
I'm always talk about this, but do you know that Bob Newhart sketch where he's playing a psychiatrist and his clients come in and they describe like, I wash my hands 50,000 times a day and blah, blah, blah. And then he's always like, well, stop doing that. And I'm like, that's really like the essence of therapy.
Yeah. Well, don't do that anymore. Stop.
Yeah,
why are you
it's
doing
so
that?
simple.
I mean, for real, that's like what I go to a therapist and she's like, well, what's stopping you from like doing that every day? And I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know. Well, then just do it. Okay. I will.
But that's true.
Here's my money.
That's what I said in my TED Talk was there's a reason why Nike's slogan has been just do it for however long. It's just the truth. Just do it. But it's hard to do it.
It's so hard to do it. We can't. It's so hard to figure it out. But
it is hilarious to say, just can we stop with the soups?
Come on. Enough. Nobody even likes it. Oh,
Nobody likes it. They don't even taste good.
Right. Yeah, that's really funny. I don't know.
All right. Let's move on. Let me think what I want to tell you about. How about an update on the Mona Lisa? That's fun.
Oh, yes. I will take one.
So they're always studying that thing because it's just so famous and there's so much interest in it. So a recent study of the Mona Lisa conducted over the course of 15 years. I don't know what takes them so fucking long. But
yeah, it doesn't change.
Right, it's right there.
Right there, staying the same.
They detected earlier marks in charcoal on the canvas, and the marks in the hand and hairline show artist Leonardo da Vinci shifted her pose over the course of the painting to make her look more directly at the viewer. And they said that the process of figuring that out was accomplished with a multispectral camera that can detect reflected light at, this crazy rate or whatever, to observe the sketch underlying the famous painting. And the analysis also detected a hairpin, which was dropped from the final work.
Oh.
So she had her hair did, and then they're like, no, let's make her beach waves.
Oh my God. So he took a little creative liberty in his
and don't you wonder,
portraiture,
why he was maybe he did the Coco Chanel thing where he removed one piece of jewelry.
Oh my God, that is such a freaking funny joke. That is so good.
But he's maybe he really did.
Nope, too much.
Yeah, because
what do we think this is? The Baroque period? Come on, get that out of here.
Baroque, right? Because Coco Chanel said when you're going to leave the house, you should look in the mirror and remove one piece of jewelry before you go. You have to edit. So maybe Da Vinci was like, you know what? That's too much.
Yeah, she's a simple lady. She doesn't...
Be casual, Mona.
Yeah, you're overdoing it. Oh, you've over-accessorized, my dear.
Less is more, Mona.
Less is more. I mean, he really should have given her a little help with those brows, or lack thereof. Help a girl out.
What was wrong with them?
I don't even think she has any.
Oh, my God. Let me see.
Mona Lisa.
She doesn't have eyebrows?
I mean, they're not a lot. No, she doesn't.
You're right. No wonder she looks mysterious.
Right. We know this. We've talked about the eyebrow thing.
I forgot. Well, we talked about it in general, but I didn't think we talked about it with Mona.
Right. Just about eyebrows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, people.
We're still learning. Maybe it did take them. Maybe they did need all 15 years or 4 years or whatever. So.
Yeah, right.
Who are we to judge?
It is annoying, though, how scholarship depends on funding, and funding depends on public interest. And so people are so obsessed with Mona Lisa that now we're just sort of studying her because it's possible to get funding for it. Yeah. This is my theory anyway, rather than other things that are less publicly appreciated, but maybe would be more consequential. Yeah, and it's... I don't even know why these paintings become so... It's got to be just the mass that it's more exposure and familiarity than the actual quality of the work. I'm not... Oh, my God. By no means am I saying the Mona Lisa is not quality art. Leonardo da Vinci isn't a genius. I'm just saying it's interesting that... we just get fixated. I don't even think it's the best work by Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah, I would agree. It's evidence, though, of how something could just catch on and become a thing. Yeah. And you can't always figure out why. Yeah. I did read, though, that there's a new painting they found in Australia that somebody bought for $60 that they think was Van Gogh. And I love those stories. Me too. Oh, the ultimate... What was that? Antiques Roadshow story. Yeah. Oh, I always love the episode of Will and Grace. If you haven't seen that one, definitely watch that. It's the best one. Just go. There you go. You're welcome. Oh, God. Yeah, because everyone wants to think that when they go to a flea market or an antique store or whatever, that they're going to find some sort of like the Declaration of Independence hidden behind some crappy painting or whatever.
Right.
And so it's so fun when it actually happens.
Oh, it really is.
And I do like hearing how the experts try to figure out if it is authentic, and they do all this work with like brush stroke style and stuff that I can't even understand, but
yeah, I was, I can't remember what it was. It was some documentary I was watching on Netflix where they were looking at carbon dating, and they look at the levels of radiation or the levels of certain elements that are on the painting and the concentration of it from after, like we started using nuclear weapons, and and that we are now, because we've stopped using nuclear weapons and testing them and signed these treaties, which is wonderful and fantastic, we are losing the ability to timestamp these works of art.
We are losing it?
Yeah, because there isn't enough we can't test it. Like, there isn't enough. It's like we only have a limited amount of time that we can use this style of testing before it is depleted and it runs away. It runs out. Isn't that crazy? I can't remember where. I'm going to have to find the source for this. I think it's in that. Oh, gosh, I can't remember what it is. But I'll find where I saw this because it was really. I was like, what? And yeah, it's like great that we have it, but it's going away.
I thought you were going to say just that basically everything and everyone is radioactive now. Like we're all Marie Curie.
Yeah. Probably.
Did you see that tweet that my friend Eileen did? This tweet that went viral that was like, she said, I told a guy I was dating one time that I was distant relatives with Marie Curie, and he said, it's pronounced Mariah Carey. Which is like the perfect mansplain moment.
Yeah. It's pronounced Mariah Carey. Yeah. Oh my God. I hate it. Oh, remember that guy that Match.com response I got years ago where I think I said I loved entomology or I loved etymology, and he said I love bugs. And we were like, no, sir, wrong one.
That's so cute though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at least.
But he did a few more things that were not.
Okay.
I feel like he did though. I don't remember.
There would probably be a good overlap there. And the same guy that gets that. Yeah.
For sure. He didn't get a date at the
end. Sarah's going to be very excited because we have a guest that she worships.
I'm so excited. Maybe you saw me freak out on Instagram about this.
Jo Frost, a.k.a. the Super Nanny, is, a national treasure. She does live in America now, so we can claim her as our national treasure.
Oh, my God. Queen of chore charts. I should say enforcer of all chore charts, which I just love.
Yeah.
Timeout chair.
She holds people accountable.
Naughty corner. Oh, I love a naughty corner.
I love it. Well, okay, so you know how I often put out calls for our listeners to write questions for people I'm interviewing. Mm-hmm. Well, this was unlike anything I've ever experienced because people have such reverence for her.
Yes.
Like there's a sense of honor that they speak about her with and gratitude. And first of all, you don't hear that very much in general, but you really don't hear it for many reality stars.
Right. Yes.
So I was just like so happy that people are just really, they look to her for guidance, and she's doing the Lord's work, really.
Yes. And I think she sees parents, and she and just validates them, and then also calls them out, and lets them know that you're going to get, she's supportive. I freaking love it. Oh,
well, my brother always used to say that love is a command to rise, and I feel like that's what Jo does, where she's like, I love you enough to say you can do better, and I'm going to help you do better, and I'm going to show you how. And she gives people the tools and empowers people, and it's really great when reality TV can give something good to the world.
I love it.
Let me read her bio before we introduce her. Jo Frost is the most globally recognized parenting expert in her field, having acquired a legacy of over 30 years' experience in her genre. She's an award-winning, best-selling author and a TV host expert, best known for her show Super Nanny, of course. In addition, Frost is founder of Nanny Jo Productions, which has produced shows like Nanny on Tour, Britain's Killer Kids, and Extreme Parental Guidance. And also, she's my buddy on Twitter. That's how I got to know her. And so I don't normally reach out via DM to like celebrities who may follow me because I don't want to take advantage. Mm-hmm. But I just felt like a lot of people are struggling during the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh.
And people are having doubt and feeling like they're letting their kids down and their kids are going to be traumatized forever. And I thought, you know what, maybe she would come on and talk about that. So that was what the focus was of the interview. And people submitted so many questions that I just tried to cover it more generally, you know, the things they were interested in. So we love Jo Frost.
Love. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
Welcome to the show, Jo.
Hello, Jo Frost. Welcome to the Brain Candy Podcast. I'm so honored to be talking to my e-friend today.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
What an honor. And I'll tell you what. So whenever I put on our page that we would be talking and said, submit your questions to our listeners, I have never, ever received a response like I have for you. People treat you with such reverence and like you're a goddess, which, you know, that must be nice. So what I'm wondering what it's like.
We're all goddesses, darling. We're all goddesses.
That's what I'm saying. But do you feel like walking around in your skin is an interesting experience because of the reaction you get from the faces you see?
It is an interesting experience because, of course, you know, I was doing this before I was doing it on camera. So it was a whole new experience coming to America 16 years ago and actually doing my work on camera because of the opening of the beginning of the reality genre. And now for the evolution of that where it's very much scripted and there's hardly a lot of non-scripted factuality. It posed a lot of questions in the beginning. Like, is this woman for real? Is she an actress?
No.
Are those kids acting? Is this family really that extreme? Like, are they really having these issues? And once we got past the first sort of couple of seasons, I would say, people realized, oh, this is what she does. This is her life's work. This is her career, you know. We're just taking what she does, you know, for a living and seeing that under the guise of, you know, the Super Nanny show then as it was. So, you know, I think, you know, people were, I'm really, really fortunate. I feel very fortunate because I hear from crew, lots of different crew working in different parts of the world. They say not everybody's as fortunate as you are with people being so kind to them. But I think, you know, people realize, you know, I'm there to help and, you know, they realize that I was a stable in their life that became a mirror to so many families. And I, you know, am compassionate and I have empathy and I do deliver the truth and I'm no nonsense. And I think it was bloody well refreshing for so many Americans. Like, ooh, that hurt a little bit. It is the truth. It hurt. But you know what? She's delivered it and she's still here. And she's like, okay, so I'm going to roll up my sleeves too and put my hands in this bucket of muck too. So, you know, I think there was a real kind of respect for the fact that I wasn't doling out what needed to change. I was like, let's do this together. And I'm about to help you do that, you know. So the first sort of, I would say the first 10 years were really garnering that respect from the American public who were watching. And so there is that lovely warm reception that I had to get used to. I have to say it was a little bit bizarre in the beginning. My husband really helped me with that. I wasn't used to people kind of coming up to me and just throwing their arms around me or wanting to kiss me or in the middle of, like, you know, trying to order some fish at the supermarket or something. It was a little bit I was a little bit taken back by it at first. And I said, I feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I know it's coming from a good place. And my husband's, working in the business, said, it's, it's just a friend, it's just people who are watching and they're excited. And I guess I just became a little bit more, as the years went on, more confident with embracing that, and recognizing that it made truly the impact that it did, because I did not come from that world. I didn't come from the TV world. I came from, professionally being a nanny and then a consultant helping and troubleshooting. So it was a very different, as you will know yourself, I kind of came through the side door just doing what I love to do, right?
Yeah, but you're the good kind. Like most of us are, we misbehave and they show us on television being less than savory. And so whenever there's a reality show that has great storytelling, it's still compelling and dramatic, but is creating a greater good, I think people are really grateful for that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's a feel-good, uplifting show. And I've heard a run of the gamut. Look, people have said to me, oh my God, it's great, birth control. Others have said it's great, others have said it's great confirmation. Others have said, God, I've learned so much. I did not know what to do. However you receive it, I call it, my work is on screen. It's factuality. It doesn't need to be produced. These are real families that really have issues. And I think if you just go forward helping these families with the integrity that I have and the moral compass that I'm very comfortable with, you can bring a family to a place of really being successful if they want it. And that never gets old, Susie. It never gets old when the penny drops and you see a couple so happy because they now realize it's like they realize for the first time, oh my God, I am capable of being able to do this. I can do this. And at that moment, you're so happy because you're very present. I'm very present with when I'm with a family, working with them. Of course, I'm not thinking about anything else but helping this family on their journey. And then you sort of, say goodbye to the family and you say, wow, not only has it helped this family, but now they're going to pass that information forward. And truly the power of the medium of television allows you to be able to help people worldwide. And that, to me, is that's unbelievable. Like, wow. Like that's, when you find out that your shows are in like 149 territories and you're on a ferry going, for a couple of days to Morocco and somebody points you out on a seat in the ferry and says, I just want to say thank you. You're like, wow, look at the impact of that,
Oh
it's incredible. It's incredible. So, I feel, I do feel very blessed that I've had the opportunity. The experience that I have and given the opportunity came together at the right time to continue helping. And what more? My God, look right now. Like we need it. So, I mean, we've always needed it, but look right now.
And that was the theme of so many of the questions, was this particular moment in time. And we're all so burdened with stress and worry and all sorts of other problems. And yet people are thinking, parenting in a pandemic is a totally different beast. And they're worried. They're fearful that they're letting their children down, that they won't be, the children will be stunted in their maturation process. How do you comfort them?
I think you have to put things into perspective. And it's hard when families around, I was about to say around the world, but in some countries we've seen a better example than others.
Yes.
But if we're talking about this country, America, then that's very difficult when there's not direction and there's not truth and there's not leadership. And it's important to have that. And we've seen how not having it has led a country to be shaken by the circumstances and the reality of this pandemic that has been minimized. I think it's important to put into perspective when you have collected the scientific data and information, What choices will you make as a family that, number one, will keep your family alive, period? Because like the governor of New York said, there's no coming back from passing away. There's no coming back from that. And that has to be the first priority. How do I keep my kids safe, my family safe, so that we're protecting us and others? And that takes a collective mindset. And
Right.
we have been living in one that's very, an individualism, right? Individualism is real. It's out there. Me,
Yeah.
myself, and I. So it has taken us to sit for a minute and recognize that our actions have true cause in saving lives. But I would say to many families, as I have, in the beginning, in March and April, we were in panic mode. We totally went into fight or flight. We now realize that this is the new norm. And there is no going back to how it was, because this will never go away. They will find a vaccine, the scientists, for this. And no doubt this particular virus will have a vaccine for it. And like the flu, over years will probably dilute itself, right?
Yes.
And become less and less strong in its strain.
Right.
However, the immediate is to recognize that this pandemic truly did highlight two things. How we were going to move forward with the new challenges presented, which were homeschooling, how we were going to create boundaries and some privacy for us all to have space under one roof, when we as human beings love our family but had been used to saying goodbye to our wives or husbands, partners, kids going off to school, and now we're feeling a little bit suffocated, all in the same space. So how do we create the bubble of privacy in our own homes and create more harmonious feelings and energy in our own environment? And how we move forward addressing the issues that have been highlighted because of the pandemic. So if you were already having challenging issues with your kids, if your communication was breaking down with your teenagers already, then COVID-19 just highlighted that.
Yes.
And gave you nowhere to run. You couldn't stay at the office later. You couldn't go on a vacation to make it go away for 10 days. You had to address the issue at hand and walk through it. You had to walk through it. So having helped over 1,200 people since March, it really boiled down to two boxes. The issues that have always been present that now became highlighted, and the ones that I was going to help families through because of the pandemic. Losing jobs, children who have lost parents that are now living with their older brothers and sisters or their aunties. The reality of older children sharing bedrooms and all getting on top of each other and arguing. Couples for the first time recognizing, oh my God, I love my husband, but he's driving me crazy. He's underneath my ankles. What am I going to do with this? I need my own space. And vice versa, So there were many core issues and those, and those families that just needed some techniques and some tools to be able to apply to not survive, but to thrive. Because I do feel that COVID-19, if you can take a moment to exhale, will help us to equalize and balance what we normalized.
Yes.
You have to remember, for 16 years, I've traveled around America and I've been to 48 states of this country and helped many a family, but also heard many a tale. Susie, it couldn't go on the way it was going on.
Yes.
Families we were normalizing not eating together and never seeing each other. We were normalizing the fact that we were never truly spending quality time with our family. Not quantity, but actual quality time with our family. That disables us to be more intuitive in knowing our children and trusting our gut instincts. we were honouring and comparing on social media those mums that were juggling 50 plates, saying, oh my God, look at her, I wish I was her. She's juggling 50 plates, she's doing so well. And actually, unbeknown to everybody, was a frazzled, emotionally burnt out mother.
With pretty pictures.
Yes, with those lovely pictures,
Right.
and everybody thought, oh, that's what we need to project, and followed the herd. Instead of just saying, look, this is me, this is it, this is how it is. We were over-scheduling, as if our children were going to miss out on the world if they didn't do violin, piano, hockey and football all at once. And thinking that our children are invincible and that they wouldn't be moody or tired as we're putting them through that. So now we're expecting our children to meet our ego expectations of a parent. Because if our child is doing all of this, never mind if they're exhausted by Friday, we might just look like a great parent, a perfect parent, So all of these examples is kind of how we've normalized our family. And a lot of those issues I was helping families with on the road, and it took the time. Like, these families have to take time off of work unless it's part of their story. So you saw me with the Osler family this season, helping this mother. They'd lost a child before. They were raising 2 boys, and her husband was a firefighter. So it was part of their story because he was gone away, But in general, if it's not part of the reason they're asking for help, these families have to take time off. They have to put the time in. They have to be willing to at least show up, right? Even if they're having trouble throughout the process, that's fine. I welcome that. It gives me an opportunity to, hear from their standpoint and to help them. But you have to be committed. And so we have the time to do that right now. We have the time to really look at what's not working for us and to prioritize what truly is important. And I've always said this, and we're in the middle of this right now because, everybody's coming up to voting in 4 weeks' time. But having good standards and family values and a moral compass and a need to raise our children with respect and good social conduct, I don't understand how that's been hijacked by the Republican Party.
Listen, Joe, you know how I feel. I feel the same way.
That belongs to everybody. Like, I help every family, regardless of your political views and opinions. So as a Brit, I really stood back and I'm like, how is this being seen as Republican? Because actually, this has got nothing to do with politics.
Right.
This is about families, regardless of their own views and their own opinions, raising their children to be well-adjusted, empathetic human beings, So it kind of puzzled me. And I needed to sort of speak out about it,
No, I think it's so true. And I got chills when you were talking about the circumstances that we're in. It's a shame that it had to come to this for the, perhaps some improvements to happen. But I do hope that's the silver lining, that people start to see, you know what, the way it was not the best way. And we do need to be together as families and be teaching our kids and having quality time, as you suggested.
Yeah.
I really
and
do
the
hope
tools.
that.
And we do, we do need to learn the tools. That's what's fantastic about the show. It gives me the ability to look at different relatable circumstances and to be able to provide the advice and the tools and the techniques to help parents with those parental challenges. But what we've also seen in this season, which I'm very happy that we decided to do more of because it was important for me coming back for season 8, was to break down the fourth wall and show families it's not in and out. It's not a DIY, quick, put the wallpaper up and knock the shelf in and you're good. There's hours of conversations. I have to, talk to both the parents numerous times or the single parent. Sometimes there is, a hurdle. Excuse me. Sometimes there's a hurdle that a particular parent is overcoming and then you go into, couple mediation and advice, as well as life coaching, for the want of a better word, through the endeavours of bringing them to a place of realisation, and leaving them with the work to do on themselves as they come together as a couple, recognising how they will be more happier with less. But what they do have is more purposeful and more meaningful. I think that, I think that really is a lot of brain thought for many families, because we do live in a world where we want immediate gratification.
Right.
We want everything now. We want to click our fingers and it just appear, like truly Mary Poppins. Let's just sprinkle.
Yeah, can you make that happen, Joe?
Yeah. Can you just click your fingers, chip chop, dally do, let's go, all done. I think it's a little bit of a surprise when I'm like, actually, no, you're going to be doing the work for the next
like
week.
Good news, bad news.
I do remember a funny. I do remember helping a family once years ago, and it was for the show. And I remember I walked in and the lady said, "Okay, well, we're just ready." I let them know, I said to them, "Look, here are the things I believe are truly challenging you and the root cause." She was like, "Right, okay. Well, when you're ready, just begin. You're fine.
No.
We'll be good. We'll be in the kitchen."
Stop.
I said, "No, actually, it's going to involve yourself."
My God. Well, that would be nice. I mean, we all want to snap our fingers and have everything change. But bad news. You got to work on it.
Yeah, it's kind of good news though, right? I mean, look, you recognise, you grow from it, you evolve, you grow from it. And I think that's what's really, really important.
You've been doing this for a long time, but don't age somehow, which I'm mad about. But I don't know your secret there. But do you notice a shift or a change in what people do worry about, parental changes and trends, or do you think the fundamentals are constant and remain pretty much the same?
I think it's both, actually. I think that we have concerns that our parents probably had when we were younger, but I also think there are new ones, and that's dictated by the technology era.
Yeah.
And how fast that is moving, that I think is very hard for our brains to even catch up with, it's just moving radically so fast.
And we really don't know all the implications of it either.
We don't. And, I help families as young as 6 and as old as young adults living at home with addiction behaviour to video gaming and spending too much time on their cell phones, and the real causes of that, and the underlying reasons. And I feel like, as I said, there were the situations of, families just, trying to get through and to put bread and butter on the table and to, look at jobs. And we've seen, over 10 years ago that we had gone through that recession, and now we're looking at the economy now and recognising that it's a little bit bleak, to say the least, with respects to opportunities and those that have gone to uni or college and looking, for their job prospects. But I also think that we've come through a lot, and we can be very resilient if we're able to recognise that this is a phase and that we will push through it. I think there's much to be said for resilience and for not pandering too much, but to recognise and to validate and to work through. But I don't subscribe to the let's just sit down and do nothing then, I really do sit in the middle. I really don't sit in one box or the other. I really do like a balance, a compromise. Like the parenting trends, parenting trends to me are just trends. They'll go in and they'll go out. families expect, and they should expect no less than techniques and advice that will work from myself. So, again, I don't subscribe to the trending of things. I'm not going to move with that. I'm going to go with what works, because why fix something that's not broken? And there are new advice and techniques that come along the way as I'm working. Of course, I have to move and evolve and change too, with the challenges that are ahead of me. But, I don't subscribe to that. I think we have to do what works. And it's been quite amazing with even some of the young generation. You'll talk to them and they'll be very kind in saying, oh, yes, so more of the old-fashioned approach then.
Oh.
And I'll say, well, no, just an approach that works, that's all. But, do come back to me if you find that what you want to experiment with don't work. And they all come back.
Yes.
They all end up coming back saying, well, it didn't just quite work. Because there's a reason, and I feel that if you can explain to families why a child may be refusing to behave a certain way, or why they're showing up a certain way, or why is your partner being defensive every time you talk. If a family understand, then they're more willing to continue moving forward in a space that gets them the results, and parenting has become $1 billion empire. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants to say what they think. But truthfully, they can only talk about their own family or their own child, So with a lot of respect, I'm coming from a place of been, helping families of all different walks of life with all different types of families and dynamics. And so, the life experience I'm given is not coming from a space of, well, I only know what I know from my child. I'm coming from a place of, well, I've helped thousands of families,
Right, because everyone thinks they're an
see.
expert if they have a kid, but it's their own personal experience, whereas you have experience across so many demographics.
Exactly.
Well, and I love that you empower people with tools that even when you leave, they can continue to foster those new techniques. And that's such a blessing for people. We all need help.
Yes, it's so important. I remember helping a family. I had my show, Joe Frost Nanny on Tour, a format that I did here in America. And I was helping a family with sleep issues, because I would say it's probably number one right now, families struggling with sleep, and sort of nailing down the age group that they had, why there were certain things they needed to do during the day to support healthier sleep of a nighttime. And it was 2:00 in the morning. And they said, are you not going? Like, I see the crew are leaving. I'm like, oh no, I'm here. I'll just be here on the sofa. And they were like, oh, you really do stay then? You really do help? I said, oh yes. Like, this is to get you in the space of all being able to sleep as a family.
That's so nice.
So they understood that. And the Atkins family love them. They're doing very well.
Well, it does make me really happy when reality television can bring good storytelling, like I said, but still be helpful to people. And that's why I love you. And I've taken up too much of your time already, so I'll ask the same thing we ask every guest at Brain Candy Podcast, which is, if you have a car, what do you keep in the trunk of your car?
If I have a car,
some people don't have cars. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do. What do I keep in my car? I've got a blanket in there. Oh, I'm like, I would say I'm kind of like, because I have a grandson. So I keep a blanket in there. I've got snacks in there. I've got like bottles of water, an emergency first kit, like the mini ones. So the nanny in me never went away. It's Susie. It's like when you've been driving around children all your life. I think only maybe 6 years ago, I took a muslin out of my big purse. Like you would carry like little things around with you. Like Eli's 6 years now. But I remember I would still have like a giant linen muzzy just shoved in my purse, because if I needed just to dab down a little bit of water and just do something, it would be there.
It is handy.
I know. My bag's like, it is like Mary Poppins' bag. I've got the Band-Aids and the cream and, the gloss in there. And, so the back of the trunk is, bottles of water, a blankie, a mini emergency kit, some...
Oops, can you hear me?
Mother would do, right?
There you go. Yes, this is what I love about this question, is it really does tell you a lot about the person, and I expected nothing less from the Super Nanny.
Oh, and recycle shopping bags for when I have to go to the supermarket. So my bags are in there already.
I love it. You're prepared for anything. Thank you so much for coming on this show. You're amazing.
Thank you, Susie.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, try giving my podcast, Miraculous Mamas, a listen. Miraculous Mamas is a safe and inclusive place for you to find a huge amount of educational and relatable information about childbirth and parenting, with absolutely everything in between. Each week we discuss important topics, share great resources, hear from experts, and listen to birth stories, all in an effort to bring you reassuring and informative experiences so that you know that you are not alone. That's all on Miraculous Mamas podcast. Look for the podcast link in the show notes or simply search for Miraculous Mamas on your podcast app.